In this video, we're going to talk about biking around Gig Harbor, both on-road and off-road, and we're going to get started on that right now. Hey everybody, my name is Darren Rivers. I am the Northwest Realtor and welcome to Living in Gig Harbor. This channel is all about Gig Harbor, Washington, what it has to offer, what the features are, the attractions, the fun things to go do. So if you're new to this channel, why don't you hit the subscribe button, tap that little bell, you get all your notifications of my videos. I send out videos about once a week. Sometimes I miss a week here or there, but for the most part, I try to get them out about once a week just to tell you all there is going on here in Gig Harbor. And, you know, maybe it's a good place for you and your family to move to. And maybe you already live here and you can just learn about things to do. So feel free to reach out to me. All my information will be put up here on the screen. You know, give me a call, send me an email or a text message. You can even put a little comment in the comment section of this video and I'll try to get back to you that way. And share this with somebody. Maybe there's somebody that can learn something from these videos that I put out about Gig Harbor. So we're going to get started on biking around Gig Harbor, and we're going to be talking about all the places that you can go, on-road, off-road. We'll get started on that right here. So let's talk about bicycling around Gig Harbor, and let's start with road bikes, okay? So the Puget Sound area in general is really known as a great outdoor area. There's just lots of activities to go do, particularly in the summer or, you know, the better weather times. Even in the winter, there's snow skiing and all that stuff that's really great up in the mountains. But for the most part, it's known as a kind of an outdoorsy area. Gig Harbor, however, doesn't have a lot of designated bike lanes on the roads. There's a few, you know, going down Soundview towards downtown and things like that. There are areas for it, but there's many places where you, on a road bike, are sharing the road with the cars. So that can be a little nerve-wracking when cars are whizzing by you fairly close and you don't have a big shoulder and things like that. Now, lots of people do it. I did it. I used to commute to work that way. But it's not everywhere. Now there's plans to improve that. A lot of developments that have to be put in or that are being put in, the city and the county put it on the developers to expand the roads, to make them bike friendly, things like that. But all of this takes a lot of time, a lot of infrastructure. And, you know, who knows how long down the road it'll be before we're truly a completely bike-friendly place with designated bike lanes and the whole 9 yards. So, lot of biking out there, just not a lot of designated bike lanes that are on the roads themselves. Like I already mentioned, in the description below will be a bunch of links to various websites that you can go to see what various routes are around Gig Harbor. There's actually designated biking routes, and some of the links are really cool. One of them is let me see, I'm looking at my notes, yes, bikemap.net, and it has 47 different bike routes around Gig Harbor that in total add up to over 1,300 kilometers. And they vary in difficulty from, you know, distance to elevation gain and things like that. And that's all in that website. And again, these links are going to be below. Another good one to look at is traillink.com. And it designates on not only bike routes, but walking routes and routes where dogs are approved and things like that. So check out all those links. There's the piercecountywa.gov link. Talks about different trails all around Pierce County, but of course Gig Harbor's here in Pierce County, so they have some of those things there as well. Also in the description below are going to be links to your local bike shops, you know, where you can go get tuning for your bike, maybe look to purchase a new one if you need any parts, things like that. It's a great way to support our local businesses here, and they're good quality stuff. It's where I buy my stuff from as well. And of course, just like anything else, there's an app for this. I'm going to look at my notes again because my memory is not that good right now for some reason. If you go to Ride with GPS, it is an app. So look up the app Ride with GPS. And it just has everything, I mean, you could take this anywhere with you if you're on vacation and you want to look for bike routes at wherever you may be. Use this and they'll have the whole 9 yards as far as bike routes, distances, again, difficulty, all that sort of stuff. So that's another great resource for you to use. And again, all this stuff's going to be in the description below. Last thing I want to turn to is mountain biking. So there's mountain biking trails around Gig Harbor as well. One of the bigger ones that is here in Gig Harbor is called the 360 Park, and it's just over the Purdy Bridge, just a couple miles out on the Key Peninsula. It's Gig Harbor mailing address, but it's a little bit outside of Gig Harbor, but it's really close. They got maintained trails, lots of trails in there. Again, some of them are more difficult than others. Not a lot of elevation gain there, a little bit, but they have some like a course set up for real extreme mountain biking with big jumps and some of the obstacles and things. And then they have just normal bicycle routes, all off-road, of course. You will run across, the hikers and walkers and things like that out there as well. But that's a great place to go. And then another really close place with a lot of riding. I mean, I don't know how many square miles it is, but it's big. It's a lot bigger than the 360 Park. It's called Banner Forest, and it's actually up in South Kitsap County. You'll run into horses out there. People take their horses and go riding around, but it's really cool terrain. It drains pretty well in the winter, so it's not really muddy, and it's a great place to go. So those are two areas really close to Gig Harbor. We're talking a 10-15 minute drive max to go do some really good mountain biking. There's other little trails that you can do here in Gig Harbor that are closer, but they're much smaller. There's ones over by the Purdy Prison, which we call the jail trails, but they're not very long. Yes, they're off-road and they're manicured trails, but you'll ride through them pretty quick, so you'll probably have to do a bunch of laps on that. But those two areas that I mentioned, 360 Park, Banner Forest. I'll put links to those in the description as well so you can see where they're at and what they're all about. But those are really cool mountain biking areas for you. The last thing I want to touch on is the Cushman Trail. So this is a designated paved path. It's 6.2 miles. It starts up off of Borgen near Home Depot and goes all the way to Tacoma Narrows Bridge. It is barely on the road. There's a couple little parts where you kind of cross the street or you ride on the road for, a couple hundred yards, but for the most part it is its own designated paved pathway. It's like 15 feet wide. You get joggers, people walking the baby strollers, people walking their dogs, of course bicyclists, but the great thing is you have no motor vehicles on it other than those couple little patches that I talked about. And then it continues across the Narrows Bridge and all the way into Tacoma, and you go all the way to Cheney Stadium. That's a lot longer than 6.2 miles, but the Gig Harbor part of it is 6.2 miles. And it's great for if you just want to do some laps and just, you have no traffic lights, you have no cars to deal with. So called the Cushman Trail. You can find that also on the links down below that I have set up for you. And if you want to take a longer ride and go into Tacoma, you can go across the Narrows Bridge, and it has a pretty well designated path going all the way to Cheney Stadium, like I mentioned. A bit more of it is on the not highway, but some of the roadways there on 6th Avenue for a little while. But for the most part, you're on your own designated, paved, maintained pathway. So it's pretty nice. So check it out, Cushman Trail. Great resource for you. There you go, guys. That is what it's like to ride and bike around Gig Harbor, both on-road and off-road. If you like this video, why don't you give me a thumbs up? Hey, give me a thumbs up. Share it with a friend, like it, the whole 9 yards. Make sure, again, reach out to me in any way you like. All my information is going to be up here on the screen, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.